Good morning, my dear students. Yesterday I covered up to this. Okay, determination of moment of instance in terms of concrete strain. Okay, this up to this table we have discussed yesterday class. It has been already published in the YouTube. I advise you to go through the video to understand. Okay, now I will continue the further discussion. I will continue in this class. See here. Now I am going to take down minimum depth for given MU. Okay, write down minimum depth, minimum effective depth. Write down minimum effective depth, minimum effective depth for given MU. Write down minimum, make it fast. Minimum effective depth for given MU. Okay, right. Otherwise, minimum effective depth of concrete obviously it must be to carry a given moment Write down this way. Minimum effective depth of concrete of a singly reinforced beam to carry a given moment. Okay, write down, right? Minimum effective depth of concrete of a singly reinforced beam to carry a given moment. Okay, so we know mu is equal to m sub u equal to k into FCK BD square. M suffix u is equal to some constant capital K into FCK, characteristic compression of the concrete. Okay, FCK into BD square. This already I have told in the last class. If the grade of steel happen to be 250, it is found to be 0.15 approximately. If the grade of steel is Fe415 grade steel, the constant K value is found to be 0.138, approximately 0.14 FCK BD square. Okay, if it is Fe500 grade steel, 0.13, 0.15, 0.14, 0.13, approximate values. Okay, this table it is there. The table it is there, exact value, approximate value. 0.15, 0.15, 0.14, 0.13. But exact value is 0.138 FCK BD square. At least remember the exact value for Fe415 grade steel. The reason is the Fe415 grade steel is widely used one. In most of the construction we have been using Fe415. That's why M equal to 0.138 FCK BD square, you should not forget. Okay. For other thing you will not remember that number 0.149, 0.133 and all. How to arrive at and all I discussed in the last class. Please go through the video. Okay. This is equal to, therefore D implies, which implies M equal to K FCK BD square, which implies D equal to root of what? Root of this one, mu divided by K into FCK BD. K into FCK B. D equal to root of mu divided by K into FCK B. Okay, that's all. Using this you can determine minimum effective. It's okay. See, you are asked to design a beam. What to do? You have to this mu. Okay, the moment, ultimate bending moment for which you have to design, that will be given. Mu value will be given. You have to assume the width of the beam. Okay, say 230 you have assumed the width. What is the depth now? You have to compute from this formula. Other thing you have to copy. If K equal to 0.15, mu by 0.15, another only remember that one. I have put it box, no? Only remember that one. Remember, you easily can get it. Okay, mu equal to some constant 0.138 FCK BD square. From this you have to get D. Okay, that's all. It's not a formula. Don't need to memorize and all. Right? Way of computing only I am telling you. Okay, so I am coming to already I told in the last class. Using SP16, you can do the problems. In this chapter, you will be getting two kind of problems. One is design problem, another one is analysis problem. Okay, first problem is analysis. Second one is design problem. What is analysis problem, design problem, I will tell you now. Okay, to do such problems, listen. One is computational way of doing. Computational way of doing already we derived the formulas which are available, the formulae which are available in Annex G of your IS code. Using that formula you have to calculate. Okay, that is one way of doing. Another one is shortcut. The shortcut way is using SP16, you can read, okay, speedy reading. You can do speedy reading of values. Area of steel required, percentage of steel required, you can compute. You can take from the tables and charts available in SP16. Whatever I am telling, everything I have told in the last class, I advise you to go through the video. Okay, please, that's all. To use SP16, what to do? You have to calculate M by BD square. Suppose you want to design a beam for a given MU value, moment of resistance value. How to design? You have to assume width of the beam. Normally the width of the beam will be assumed 150 mm, 200 mm, 230 mm, 300 mm, 350 mm. Depends upon the MU value. MU value is moderate now, you can assume width moderately. If the MU value is very high now, you have to assume width 230 or 300 mm. Okay, depth can be obtained in two ways. One is using that expression, just what I told you, MU equal to some constant, say if Fe14 grade steel, 0.138 FCK square. From this D equal to root of MU divided by K into BD, I told you. Okay, if Fe14 steel, K is 0.138. From this you have to calculate the minimum depth required. You have to provide depth more than the minimum depth. Minimum depth you will be computing. Say you are getting, for example, 422 mm. You have to provide 450 mm depth. Just an example I am telling you, right? That is one way of getting depth. Another way of getting depth is, in the IS code, FD depth to span to FD depth ratio is there. That will ensure the serviceability condition. Okay? In order to control the deflection, FD depth to span to FD depth ratio is suggested for certain beams, invisible beams, cantilever beam, fixed end beam, continuous beam. This is the value. I will show you everything we are going to do in the problem. That way also you can determine depth. Okay. After having obtained MU, B and D for the given cross section, what you do, you have to calculate M by BD square. MU by BD square you have to calculate. Once you know, you calculate M by BD square. Once you calculate, using SP16, there are tables available. From the tables, you can compute the percentage of steel required. Percentage of tension steel required can be obtained. Listen. Okay, that I will, you may not follow, I know that because you are attending class on alternate days. All those things have been discussed already. Please go through the video, then only you can follow. Okay, I will go to the further discussion in this. So I am going to discuss with you guidelines for choosing width, depth and reinforcement. Okay, guidelines, just try now. Guidelines for choosing width, depth and reinforcement of beams. Okay, we are going to see, tell you some points you have to keep in mind while doing the design of singly reinforced beams. Okay, guidelines for choosing width, depth and reinforcement of beams. Okay, these whatever guidelines I am going to tell you now, or points which I am going to tell you now, should be kept in mind. Okay, while designing reinforced concrete member. One is the tension shield should not be less than 0.3% of the cross section. Effective area. It should not be less than 0.3%. Okay, minimum reinforcement in beam should be, tension shield percentage should be 0.3% of effective area. Effective area means width and effective depth is called effective area. Width into every depth is called effective area. Okay, 0.3% of the area of concrete. Or at least it should be 75% of the steel required for balance section should be provided. 70% of the steel required for balance section. If you want to design the beam as underimposed, the steel provided should be at least 75% of the steel required for balance section. At that point, not important. We can leave it. Okay, I am coming to the other one. Actually, at least 2 bar should be used as tension steel. If you want to provide a tension steel, minimum 2 bar you have to provide, not 1 bar. Okay, minimum 2 bar should be there. The tension flow, that is, should be maximum 6 bars. In a layer, maximum number of bars are 6. If your number of bars exceed 6, suppose 8, you have to provide it in 2 layers. Bottom layer 6 number, 2 bar top, in 2 layers. Okay. At tension steel you have to provide it in a layer, only 6 bars are permitted, maximum number of bars. Minimum number of bars 2 should be there. Okay, that's what the sign point says. The third point is hanging bar. You are providing hanging bar, no. In the compression zone, you are going to provide 2 bars. The hanging bar called hangers. the hanger bar should be 2. Minimum diameter should be 10 mm. Hanger bar minimum diameter should be 10 mm. Similarly, tension steel minimum diameter should be 12 mm, not less than 12. Tension steel, you have to keep minimum diameter 12 mm. Hanger bar minimum diameter 10 mm, not less than that. Okay, hanger bar will be provided 2 bar. That is the straight point says. And the usual diameter of bar provided in tension steel is 10 mm. Why 10 mm? Hanger bar, not in tension. In tension steel, we provide 12 mm bars. What is the next one? 16 mm, 20 mm, 25 mm, 32 mm. These are the usual bars. In between 22 also there. 12 mm bar, 16 mm bars, 22 mm bars, 25 mm bars, and 32 mm bar. Okay, but in the book it is given 22. But in practice, whether 22 mm bar available or not, I have a doubt. Okay, let us see. Because this is the standard diameter of the bar available in the market. The market forms of steel, no standard diameter of bar available in the market. That you have to provide. Keep that point also in mind, right? And then what is the large diameter of the bar of the beam faces? Okay. Actually, the largest diameter of the bar should be at the outer face of the beam. Suppose in a layer you want to provide 4 bars. All are not of equal diameter. 2 bars are 16 mm, while 2 bars are 12 mm steel. Because you computed area of steel, you want to, how do you provide that area of steel obtained? Area of steel you will be obtaining mm square. You have to convert it into number of bars. Isn't it? You are not able to convert it equally. Suppose 60 mm dia bar you want to provide 2, and 12 mm bar 2 now, the 16 mm bar should be provided at the outer face, and 12 mm should be introduced in between. Okay, that's what the other point says. Different size of bars in one layer, place the largest diameter of bar near the beam faces. Okay, near the beam faces, the largest bar should be provided. And she should be symmetrical. Okay, so next, fourth point, the nominal cover. And okay, the nominal cover should be 20 mm. What is maybe nominal cover? For civil reinforcement, nominal cover means you have main bars, hanger bar, and a tension steel bar, and you have stirrups. Okay, the stirrups normally used to be 8 mm stirrups. Okay, from the 8 mm stirrups, the cover is called nominal cover. That should be 20 mm. So say the stirrups is 8 mm now, clear cover will be 28 mm. Okay, clear cover to the main reinforcement will be 28 mm. Nominal cover, clear cover, FAT cover from the center of the reinforcement. That is called FAT cover. Okay, clear cover means the distance between outer face of the main reinforcement to the concrete surface is called clear cover. That is, normally it will be come around 28 mm. If the nominal cover is kept as 20 mm. Okay, that is keep it in mind. That is the thing. So 20 mm the nominal cover should be provided for the reinforcement. Okay, when it is exposed to aggressive environment, mild environment, and also the aggregate size unit should be 20 mm. Okay, so what is the minimum spacing between the bar? I said in a beam, without the beam, you can accommodate in a layer 6 bars. What should be the minimum spacing between the bar? Is it possible for me to place them so closer? If you look at, we are using the maximum size of aggregate 20 mm. Maximum size of aggregate 20 mm plus 5 mm required. Okay, so 25 mm. Minimum spacing between bars should not be less than 25 mm. Because you are using 20 mm aggregate. In that you add 5 mm. Okay, 25 mm. So below that you cannot reduce. The minimum spacing between bars should be minimum 25 mm. That's what this point says. Okay, 5 mm. Maximum size of the aggregate is okay. Minimum distance between the bars should be 25 mm. Okay, 25 mm, that's what. Minimum distance between bars should be 25 mm. It should not be less than that. This table not necessary. Okay, this table not necessary. We will go to the other point here. What is this point says? Let's see. What is the depth of the beam should be satisfy the deflection requirement. So the depth of the beam should satisfy the serviceability requirement, deflection requirement. It means even if you determine depth using that formula just now I told you, root of mu by FCKB. Using that, if you compute, you can determine depth using that, the minimum depth. Depth provided will be slightly higher than the minimum depth required. You will be providing. Later you have to check it. The depth provided should satisfy that codal provision. The codal there are span to effective ratio is there. That ratio it should satisfy. It should be within that ratio. It should not exceed that ratio. In order to provide serviceability condition, ensure serviceability condition, the deflection point of view. Okay, so that's all. That is the same. Usual width of the beam adapted. Usually take as 20%. Keep all the points not necessary. Normally the depth will be. Normally the depth of the beam will be 1.5 to 2 times the width of the beam. Usually the depth of the beam will be 1.5 to 2 times the width of the beam. It should not exceed twice the width of the beam. If the depth of the beam exceeds twice the width of the beam, that will be categorized as a deep beam. That will go to the category of deep beam. Okay. So the depth of the beam should lie between 1.5 to 2. Okay. Now usually it will be. That is another important point. And then normally the width of the beam adapted is 150 mm, 200 mm, 230 mm, 250 mm, and 300 mm, 350 mm, and so on. Here this book it is given up to 300. Normally not beyond 300. Okay, at the most 320, 350, you can provide. Okay, width of the beam. So, okay, beam frame into that's all. Points we have discussed, all the important points we have discussed. So I have to keep these points in mind while doing the design. Okay, just a small introduction I want to give regarding what I am going to do in the next topic. With that I will finish today's class. Okay. Just a few minutes. It's there in my pen drive. I have a copy. 1 minute. I will copy it. It will take some time to. Eventually I can do the next class. Okay. What I want to discuss. Okay, better. Because the video is being recorded. Switch off.